Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Teams Nation 2024. Shall we get started with Keynote?
Looks good to me.
Perfect. Okay, look, everyone's grabbed our coffees. Let's get ready for a big day of learning about Microsoft Teams. So welcome, everyone. Let's get started with introductions. My name is Chris Hord, Partner Education Lead at Infinigate Cloud. With me is Vesku Nopanen, who's the Principal Consultant for Sulava, and also Adam Deltinger, okay, who's the modern work for Asa Abloy, and also Matti Paukkonen, who is also with us today as part of the team. So we're going to go through in the next 40 minutes and just talk a little bit about the Teams Nation 2024 conference, what it's about if you've not been with us before. We're also going to go over the housekeeping and what the main themes of the conference. We've got a long day ahead, but we've always used the keynote in order to talk a little bit about the conference. So let's get things underway. Thanks ever so much for joining us. I'm just going to take control of the actual deck. So let's get things underway. So Teams Nation 2024. I just want to start by saying thank you ever so much for being with us today. Thank you ever so much, okay, about making the time to come along to the keynote, come along to the sessions. It's going to be an exciting day. We're going to be talking about Teams. We're going to be talking about every aspect of every workload of Teams, whether that's about messaging, whether in chat, whether that's about meetings, whether that is about calling. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about AI and metaverse. We're going to cover subjects such as Copilot and Microsoft Mesh. We're also going to talk about integrated services as well. You're going to see about SharePoint today and OneDrive, and we're going to talk about the Power Platform, and we're going to talk about SharePoint Premium, or what was known as Syntex. We're going to cover a lot of ground. Now, what you'll probably, the first question you'll ask is, why are we doing this again? Why have we decided to kind of come back with the conference? A couple of years ago, if you remember, we stopped the conference after a number of years during the pandemic. And really, when we come to think of it, it was all about giving us a little bit of a rest from things. I mean, we were doing this once or twice a year. We were doing the user groups, and we managed to grow it to a huge scale. I think the last conference, I think, Vesku, how many people was it that we actually got at the last conference?
Teams Nation, I think we had something like 2,000, 2,500, something
That's
about
right.
that.
That's
Almost
right.
three.
And we were working on the event for most of the year. So, things got like really, really big, and we were very busy at the time, and we'd kind of decided that we'd give ourselves a year off. At the time, we kind of thought that it'd be a little bit more permanent, but we were, people were asking us, they said, are you going to come back with Teams Nation? We really enjoyed the event. We really enjoyed what it's all about. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time, and we're just going to have a great day. So what is it we're going to deliver today? We're going to have 7 tracks, all on different subjects about Microsoft Teams. We're going to have 64 sessions, and that roughly equates until 42 hours of content. Now, as always with Teams Nation, what we want to kind of convey is that this is 100% free. There is no selling during the sessions. There is no kind of, we're not pushing an agenda or anything to follow up. This is purely a free event. That's why we kind of have our slogan, 100% free, 100% community. This is for you. This is for the wider community. It's about sharing everything that we have and giving a little bit back. So for those of you that have come along today, and this is your first Teams Nation, it really is simple. We go back to what it was at the beginning. It's really about those 3 things. Number 1, it's about Microsoft Teams. We love Microsoft Teams. Vesku, Matti, Adam, myself, and many others here today, we are all Teams MVPs. That's how we got our MVP. Well, I can see Vesku catching the attention in the background. We love every aspect of Teams. We've worked with Teams since it first came out. So if we can remember back in 2017 when it was launched, we've worked on this pretty much every day in our roles within our respective businesses. We've worked with community members in the Microsoft tech community. We've spoken on the circuit. We've been involved with Teams for a lot of years at this point, and we love every aspect of it. So that's the first thing. This, is a conference that concentrates squarely on Microsoft Teams. Secondly, it's about the community. I mean, we love being in the community. The other presenters that are going to be here today, all of the speakers, they talk regularly, not just on Teams, but the rest of Microsoft 365. They talk on Azure, they talk on other Microsoft technologies. But they're all, if the one thing that kind of binds them together is that they love being in the community, they love sharing their knowledge, and they love to help you understand more about these technologies. Everyone that you're going to see today has really made this their life's work. They're so passionate about these kind of things. Third but not least, it's about giving back. Now you might ask the question, why are we giving back? Well, every one of the organizers, we're all in corp roles. We work on this every single day of our lives, and it's really nice once a year to be able to do something that's kind of completely free, that we can help other people build their knowledge on Microsoft Teams, and to do so without any kind of cost, any kind of follow-up. As we say, this is our gift, as it were, purely to you. And like I say, I'm very, very humbled that everyone has come along today. Now, Teams Nation as a conference was created because we wanted to democratize that team's knowledge and experience. We believe that everyone has the right to have a good understanding and make the most of Microsoft Teams. During the pandemic, it helped businesses survive. It really still is that critical application. But also as well, and people ask this from time to time, they say, why do you still do this online as opposed to in person? Maybe one day we'll do a hybrid and have it in person and online as well. But really, for us, when we started out, we wanted to give that great conference experience to everyone, make it accessible to all, to people that can't afford it. Travel can be expensive. Time is one of our most precious things, so this can help people be able to access the content while still not have to spend in order to come. So another reason why we wanted to do Teams Nation again is not just because people asked us, or because we missed working with the speakers, or missed the wider community like yourselves. It's because Teams has changed a lot over the last few years. I mean, if we go back to when we first started conferences, there were only 13 million daily active users. That mid 2019 was right before the pandemic. If we look at today, over 320 million monthly active users of Teams. Wow, that's a massive amount. I remember, I think it was 1 week during 2020, during the pandemic, the growth of Teams was 12 million users in a single week in March. That is absolutely explosive growth. It was growing so fast at one point, there was actually problems with the service, and actually Microsoft had to kind of cut back on some of the functionality and changes because it was literally growing so fast. But one of the big stories that you're probably aware about already this year is that the Microsoft Teams client is getting a total rework. We're moving from version 1 to version 2, and that's happening at the end of March this year. So really, for us, that's a massive sweeping change that's happening with Microsoft Teams, and we'll want to examine, the kind of, it's a good time to return and look at Teams, look how far it's come. I'm a strong believer myself that every so often we can turn back and have a look at all that great work that Microsoft has done. But if you look at these numbers, all the great work that these speakers have done to advocate for Microsoft Teams, to make it work with inside their organizations, and to help their businesses just do more and do better. Now, I'm not going to drain the rest of this slide before we move into our opening table talk, but just some of the things to consider. Think about all of the apps that are now in Microsoft Teams. Again, when we started this conference, there was only 500 apps in the ecosystem. That sounds a lot, in some regards, but today we have over 2,000. We now have new ways to break out to PSTN. We have all different kinds of channels. When we started out, you could only have standard channels. I was looking back at the history, and private channels had not even been released when we started doing these conferences. Neither had advanced meeting controls, so hard mute wasn't there. The ability to have custom backgrounds wasn't there. The ability to be able to have pop-out windows, all these things that if you're a new user today, you would take for granted. None of this was there back then. We had no Power Platform integration. Microsoft Viva, Microsoft Mesh, Microsoft Copilot, these things hadn't even been invented yet. So it's really a good time, having had a few years break, to kind of come back and look at everything that Teams can do. So once again, I'd like to thank you for coming today. We're going to move on before we get to some real nice videos, and just start out with a table talk, because I've kind of probably talked enough at this stage. So we're going to ask some questions about Microsoft Teams, and we're going to do that from the organizers. We thought that we want to get them engaged early. There are some kind of fundamental questions, and it's great to hear their perspectives on Teams. So we're going to just go through quickly, kind of 3 open questions to our organizers, find out their opinions. I'm sure that you have opinions of your own. Let's start out with Vesku. Vesku, let's take this first question. Is Teams still as relevant today in 2024 as it was during the pandemic?
Of course, it is relevant. It was very, very critical during the pandemic. And by the way, audience, you can put your own answers to the chat if you like. And yes, we are extremely relevant because the world did change permanently during the pandemic. We are in a very hybrid world, and we are collaborating with each other. We are collaborating from different locations. Even when we are in the same company, we are not sharing the same physical space. So of course, Teams is essential, so we can keep working and meet our colleagues through Teams as well. So, and I think the other part of in there is that it's still the hub for work. It's integrating a lot more tools into that than before. So we are using that as our interface for almost everything in Microsoft 365.
That's perfect. Thanks ever so much, Vesku. Adam, how about yourself? How do you feel about this question?
Yeah, I would say I agree with what he said. I mean, we'll never go back to the kind of pre-pandemic times. We will now kind of have a mix where we kind of combine the in-person experiences with the remote collaboration and meetings and so on. And I think we need to have the tools to support that in a good way, and therefore also, I mean, absolutely as relevant as during, I would say also now after, because we will need that the collaborative remote experiences and applications and kind of these synergies where we now can connect all of these things together and what we need to do for work and be able to do that remotely as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Thanks ever so much, Adam. And Matty, how about yourself? What's your perspective? Do you think it's still as relevant now as it was a few years back?
Yeah, totally relevant, and I agree to Vesku and Adam as well. And now seeing that the app side is also starting to grow, and we are integrating more and more applications inside of Teams, so it's really becoming to the hub of work. So, and I hope we are seeing development in that side as well during this year.
And that really kind of moves on to the second question. What is going to define success for Microsoft Teams in 2024? I mean, I guess we can take this from a personal perspective, or what you think defines success for Microsoft. Adam, do you want to kind of start with this one? What's going to make a successful year this year with Teams?
Yeah, I think it's I would say a number of factors, of course, but I can mention just a few. I think, for example, there's the new client, right? That's most of us have been using for a while now, but I think end of March the old client will be decommissioned, and we kind of have to use the new client. And that, I think it's a factor of how that will be managed and how Microsoft kind of supports that one. I still hear that some are a little bit cautious about this, and they're a little bit nervous about it because they still see there are some improvements to be made, and so they revert back to the old client. So I think that one will be a big thing, that they kind of launch that new client, or I would say remove the old client with everyone happy using the new client, of course. Another thing, of course, I mean, everyone is talking about Copilot. That's a big thing. But I think also, which we'll get into a lot more later, and especially in the sessions as well, a lot of them is kind of how we go to the next step and really kind of utilizing the power of Copilot with the integrations and add-ins and stuff like that. And that will be really, I would say, really kind of good to see that future for Copilot and Teams, where we have that. It's still called like the hub for teamwork. So I think when we now combine all of these Copilot functionalities with kind of our business applications and such, that's the real power when that comes in there.
That's an interesting point, and I'm going to flip this back over to Vesku. So Vesku, the success of Teams in 2024 is going to be the success of Copilot. Are they going to start calling it the AI hub for teamwork? What's your perspective on this?
No, it's not a hub for AI, but it's very important that the AI will be integrated into Teams in various ways. For example, well, you mentioned the Copilot. We have left that over to open the cage, off the cage now. So it's going to need to be within Teams. I'm very tempted to say everywhere, but we don't need it all in every location, but we will require it in many places. So for the success, of course, Teams needs and Teams users need to utilize AI. So it needs to be helpful. It needs to be integrating into other systems as well, because the integration part is crucial to keep the Teams as a hub for work. And the new client, of course, we love it because it's faster. And I think the performance side, it needs to be developing all the time. On the success, it's a lot of work for Teams team to make this happen. And they need to continuously improve things. And they need to think about, okay, how they are going to adapt to everything that's happening. But Copilot, yeah, focus is there. For now.
Absolutely. So we've got the Teams client, we've got the kind of the success of Copilot in the integration. Matti, is there kind of any other things that you'd highlight as to what's going to define success, or do you kind of see it the same way as Adam and Vesku?
I guess on the large adoption side, just keeping it improving and making it even more fluent to the basic users, because now we have seen a lot of improvement, new client, buttons, menus have been changing a bit. It's more logical, but still, for example, people raise hands when they react and those kind of things. So making it even more fluent to the basic end users, kind of to them to adopt the Teams.
So am I right in saying kind of doubling down on the UX and making sure that everything's kind of responsive, everything kind of, they don't duplicate the functionalities across the UX?
Yeah, right. And listening to the field that what are the common kind of pain points for even the basic users, so they can easily use Teams. I guess this is a good way to go with the new client already, so good improvement there.
I'm going to continue with this line of questioning because we're going to go in the last question before. We've got some videos for you, and we've got some friends that are going to be talking with us as well. You know, they haven't forgot us. They love Teams Nation too. But we're going to finish off on this question. Matti, what would you like to specifically see in Microsoft Teams in 2024? If you had a wish list, if you had one or two things that you were sitting down with Microsoft and saying, look, we absolutely need to do this in 2024, what are they going to be?
I have a huge wish list, but I'm still going back to the basic users, just picking one that make the channels even more engaging, because still we are seeing a lot of chats, not so many discussions on channels. So make it more visually appealing to use. They are going in the right direction, but make it even better. Still sort of larger adoption of Teams.
Perfect. Vesku, we're going to flip it over to you because I know you're going to play the video. So I'm putting you
Ah.
first instead of Adam. So what would you like to see in 2024?
Well, of course, I want to see the mesh integration grow. I want to see us being able to use Teams to join 3D spaces in channels, of course, in meetings and joining custom spaces. So the kind of promise we had on the mesh, I would really love seeing that being integrated there. Of course, my wish list doesn't end there, no way. And it starts with the AI and it ends with the accessibility, and it's just going over the letters, not in the short way. So there's going to be a need for of what we want to see there is, of course, improvements in a lot of areas. And I think shared channel was a great improvement, and I'm eager to see how they are going to be improved over time as well. So there needs to be advancement in all fronts. It's not just plain AI, but everything needs to go forward because this is the pace of the world. And I think one of the weird thing or things is going to be like, okay, what we don't know about this year yet. Things were totally different 1 year ago. And the AI has broken through. We couldn't have even imagined that this stuff 1.5 years ago. So it's very interesting to see what will be happening and how teams will be answering that.
Absolutely. Our kind of next 10 years start here. Just before we get on to Adam, please feel free to put in the chat what you want to see from Microsoft Teams, because we'll take this chat and we'll submit it to Cara Burgess, who leads up Envy. I'm sure she'll be very interested to pass on to the teams what you want to see. But Adam, how about you before Vesku gets into the video?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think both Vesku and Matti touched upon this a little bit, but I would say very simply simplification, right? Microsoft has thrown a lot of functionality and features and stuff into Teams, and which is great, of course, but I think what I hear a lot is that it's a little bit messy, and the possibility to customize your clients and kind of sort, filter, and group your teams, for example. And I think, I mean, now rolling out with archiving of channels, that's kind of one step in the right direction to kind of make sure to clean up in your client. But I would like to see more possibilities to customize your team's experience.
Thank you ever so much, guys. Well, here we go from our organizers team. Vesku, Adam, Matti, myself, Paul, and Chris Webb, who won't be here for this actual session. We'd just like to wish you all the very best for today. We're going to be talking about, after the videos, the themes of the conference and the housekeeping. But Vesku, as Satya says, shall we roll a video?
Yes, we are going to be rolling our friends greetings for Teams Nation soon. We reached out to a couple of them at Microsoft, and of course we want to share this with you. So let's welcome Donna Sarkar.
Hello, Teams Nation. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to hear what you think of this event. Huge thank you to Vesa for inviting me and all of you to come and participate. This entire conference is a huge labor of love, and I'm so grateful to the community for making it real. I'm Donna Sarkar. I head up the Copilot and AI Extensibility program at Microsoft. What is that? You've heard of Copilots, right? Every product has got its own Copilot experience. What my team and I do is figure out how we can take these Copilot experiences and make sure that you're able to reason over your own data, personal, company, whatever you want, to maximize that data to do whatever you need AI to be doing. And again, it's completely in your hands and your control. So you're going to hear a lot more about Copilot extensibility this year, and you're going to hear a lot more about a thing called Copilot College. What is that? Tune in to Patrick Chanazon's talk today to learn more about it. He's got a fantastic endnote for you, and he's going to be telling you all of our Copilot news, shenanigans, and upcoming things. Okay, so let's talk about Teams, why you're all here today. Teams has been probably the most important tool at Microsoft for the last few years. One of the things that I want to make sure that everyone understands is that we actually cannot function as a business without Teams. There are 3 things that I look at Teams to do for me every single day. 1, connecting with customers like you all over the world. right? And the best thing is continuing the conversation. So even when I hang up the call, the text thread, the chat stays alive. So I keep dropping in resources, asking questions, etc. Customer after customer after customer. I do this all day, every day. Second thing is keep my projects organized. I tend to start a lot of things, right? There's like project here, conference there. And it's the way that I keep each thing in one place. So notes, chats, recordings, everything here for every one of my projects. Right now, I've got 12 projects going on because I make poor choices. And the third one is that Teams is actually the best example of practical AI in the world, because Teams Recap and Teams Summarize are the way that when I'm doing multiple projects, I can skip meetings for specific things and catch up on them, or I can summarize what are the 10 things that I need to be doing this week as a result of all of the meetings I've had, rather than just one meeting after another. So if you haven't had a chance to use Teams Recap yet, use it, summarize meetings, and use prompts like, tell me 3 things I have to get done today as a result of all of my meetings. So I cannot tell you how important Teams is, but you probably already know that. That's why you're at Teams Nation. I hope you have a fantastic conference. I hope you learn a lot. Drop me a message on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm extremely easy to find. And I can't wait to hear all of the things that you learned today. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
Hello, my name is Evan. I'm a principal product manager from Microsoft, working in Redmond organization, but physically actually staying always in Finland, which actually is a really good segue for the power of the Microsoft Teams, which has changed everything what we can do together, regardless of the location where we are. So I started in Microsoft in 2006, and I joined as a consulting role, and then I joined Redmond organization 2012, 2014, and then engineering 2016. And when I started in Redmond organization, all of the meetings, they didn't have remote option. So I actually seriously had to use those phone boxes within the meeting room, or send a message in Lunk. I think it was Lunk at the time, for my colleagues that, hey, can you open up a phone line so I can listen what's actually happening within a Redmond. Luckily, then Teams came, and with all of the sadness of pandemic, but that really transformed or accelerated the Teams adoption as well, and that really changed everything, which is now opening up completely new opportunities. So I'm no longer the only remote person as I was when I started in our organization. We have a lot of other remote persons working in Microsoft across the US, across the world, and that is all possible because of that Microsoft Teams and the connectivity, the videos, the discussions, the screen sharing, all of the whiteboard apps and everything else what we can do with Teams. It really enables us to be more inclusive and being more present for anybody within the world. Every single week we do community calls, and within our community calls we have up to 700 live people joining and watching Microsoft demos, community demos, through the Microsoft Teams. So if we wouldn't have Microsoft Teams, the world would be a pretty sad place, right? It really has enabled us to be more closely involved with everybody across the world, and it really enables that inclusiveness within our ecosystem across the community. And everybody can join, everybody can access, you can tap into the skills for everybody else within the world easily. The only challenge or only suggestion forward of what I would have is that if possible, can we agree that there would be also a one time zone within the world? So that would actually help on the working dimensions a bit even more, and if possible, my time zone. So, but other than that, have a great Teams Nation. It's and see you in the community calls and in the community events. Cheers.
Okay, so we're going to switch back over. We're going to start talking about now the themes of the actual conference this year. So thank you ever so much for that, Vesa. I'm just going to, again, take control of the page. Okay. Vesa, if you want to get the slides back.
You are not seeing them? Okay.
No, I can only see the Teams Nation page at this moment in time.
Interesting.
No worries, that's absolutely perfect. You got it. Yeah,
Okay.
you've got it.
Do you
So
see it?
I can see it. Thank you ever so much. So moving on to the themes, okay, of the conference, we have we normally call out 3 themes every year of kind of, I guess, buckets that we want to actually concentrate on. So number 1, we're going to be looking at Teams fundamentals, and what we talk about when it comes to fundamentals is the workloads such as chat, calling, meetings, files. It's, you know, with the change in the Teams client, it becomes a good time to really review these things and see how far that they've come and how the experience today has basically evolved, and we can do far more with Microsoft Teams than we've ever been able to do. It's been a long journey. I mean, that was alluded to by both Donna and Vesa in their videos. So you're going to see a lot of sessions in the conference this year that is going to be focusing on those fundamentals. Number 2, it's about AI and metaverse. It's the, I guess, not the elephant in the room. I mean, it's the thing that I know that a lot of people are talking about today. We're going to be breaking it down in the context of what it means for Teams. And there are some absolutely fantastic sessions that's in our 6th track on AI and metaverse. These are going to be the things that we're not just going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about for many years ahead. Last but not least is this 3rd point about synergies and Teams working with all of these other applications. Over the years, we've heard that expression, Teams is the front door to the Microsoft 365 ecosystem and more. We've got a dedicated synergies track today. So what we're going to do is we're just going to call out, just before we get onto the housekeeping, some sessions. Next slide then, Vesa. So my personal picks for the fundamentals, I'm calling out a couple that I saw during the process of submissions and scheduling, ones that I'm looking forward to watching myself today. The first is by Chirag Patel. He's going to be talking about Microsoft Teams with document management in SharePoint. I mean, I guess, you know, when it comes to there's going to be a lot of sessions on Copilot and Mesh, and there's going to be like lots of flashy sessions that's going to be going on today. I myself are really passionate about those kind of fundamental experiences, the ones that Teams were originally built on. So Chirag is a good friend. I know that how much he loves SharePoint, how much he loves Teams. I'm really looking forward to that session and seeing, especially with all of the file management enhancements that we've seen. The second session that I'm looking forward to is with Lorian and Megan, and funnily enough, it's the session immediately following the keynote today. Why am I looking forward to this session? Well, the thing that I love about Lorian and Megan is how much they deconstruct the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, and they very much kind of question, you know, what it is that we actually do. I mean, I think that is really important for us working with these technologies, is that we must interrogate them, we must question them, we must just not always blindly accept that these things are good. And that comes not just to the technology, but also the circumstances that we find ourselves in within work sometimes. You know, we must always question what it is that we're doing. It's a very philosophical and deconstructive look at the technology. We must always question that. You know, Lorian has been very much a mentor to me over the years as well. Very much, admired both his and Megan's careers. You know, this is a consistent thing over the years for them. They hold Microsoft to account, and they call it out where they see it. And so a session like this is always welcome. I mean, I saw this session come in and I was like, wow, this is the kind of session that I want Teams Nation to be. We've had some of those sessions before in the past. I remember Craig Jeffers doing his session on call-in on a motorbike going through Sydney this time, if we all remember that. This is that kind of session where we thought this is the kind of thing that we're looking for. And then also as well, Laura Rogers' session that's later, the Battle of the Forms. So she's going to be looking at forms, SharePoint forms, Teams approvals. sometimes we have several different ways of doing things inside the Microsoft ecosystem, of which Teams is a part. And I think one of the most important things that we can do is to compare and contrast these things and say, well, look, is Teams really the best place to do it? Or is there other applications, or vice versa? Because sometimes there is this level of complexity, and it's important for us in order to simplify that. So that's my 3 picks. Hey, look, I'm one of the organizers. I'm heavily involved in. I love every session that's on there today, but 3 that I know that I'm definitely going to be attending today, and I look forward to seeing. And this is just a small kind of example of what we have on today. Vesku, I'm gonna, you're the AI and metaverse guru, so I'm gonna pass it over to you for your picks today.
Thank you. And just like you, it was really, really difficult to think about, okay, which kind of sessions I'm going to raise to the list. There were so many sessions. I could have chosen 3 mesh sessions, of course, very easily, or 3 Copilot AI sessions, and beyond that, because yeah, we love all the sessions that there are, and you have been chosen, and you speakers have been chosen for that. So, but picking up 3 with the slightly different aspects, but of course, I'm loving to see Sandra Kiel's session about the mesh, because it's empowering the neurodiverse teams, and it's about the inclusivity, the diversity, how we are bringing people together in a better way using this tech we have. So it's a kind of a when you're thinking about, okay, to what I'm going to be using mesh, that's one of the good ways how to continue and how to do that, and to what to use it. And of course, I was tempted on the second one, but I couldn't stop laughing on the Honeycutt and Moore's session title and description. They did a great job, and the content is great, because in order to get advantage out of the AI, out of the Copilot, you can extend that beyond Copilot as well. You need to take care about how people will be using that. So human aspect is really important. AI is not replacing us. It's not an autopilot. We need to learn how we are working side by side with an AI, so it is beneficial for us, and how we can use the AI to remove tedious tasks and so on. So I think that's one of the sessions I'm really looking forward there. And of course, I picked up our EdNote speaker, Patrick Shanetson, and because I think there's going to be a lot of interesting content in that session, and how you are combining all these different levels of people, like you have end users, you have low code people, and you have pro devs, you have business people, and how these all are coming together, and how you can achieve more with how you are building those solutions as well. So I think it's going to be a very fast-paced session, so we will be staying awake very well there. So of course, you should join that for sure. Okay, I think that was my 3 picks. Adam, are you ready?
Absolutely. So we're gonna go over to my personal picks here, and as Chris, I think he said, it's really hard. I mean, there's so many great sessions, but I picked 3 sessions in regards to synergies here, and those are Shursti Shah, Transform Copilot Development with Microsoft Copilot Studio. I told myself, don't mention Copilot more than 2 times during the keynote. I think I failed that already, but that's how it is, right? It's a big thing. Copilot is a big thing, and I also mentioned previously that, I mean, I think the next big thing in regards to Copilot is kind of making sure to integrate kind of your business applications and other places up where you have your data and information and so forth. So this is what Shursti will hopefully talk about a little bit. So I really endorse this session. Well, then we have Chloe Moreau. Discover the ingredients to boost your productivity with Power Platform and Teams. And again, here, kind of combining the different technologies here in order to accomplish something and boost productivity. In this case, with, for example, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Teams. It's in room 3 for 4 p.m. And then we have, of course, Marco Rocca and Fabio Francini's session, Empowering the Future of Collaboration, thanks to SharePoint and Copilot. Here again, they will talk about kind of what the new things in SharePoint are in terms of collaboration and communication, and kind of the innovations powered by Copilot and AI overall. And then they will dig into a little bit about Teams Premium and the functionality there, and kind of how to utilize those kind of capabilities in order to do a secure implementation of Copilot. So that sounds also very interesting. So those were my top 3 picks there. And what will happen now is that I will continue to do some, I would say, basic housekeeping. And Chris already mentioned here, we have a lot of content. We have 7 tracks. The adoption and governance, security and compliance is the track 2, track 3, productivity, track 4, meetings and callings. We have track 5, build and extend, track 6, AI and the metaverse, and then we have track 7, synergies. And you can, of course, kind of do however you want here, if you want to follow a learning track or kind of just listening to one single track. But I would recommend to kind of customize your viewing experience and mix and match across the different tracks. So that is fully up to you, of course. Then I want to endorse, of course, our EndNote, which Vesku was talking about just now with Patrick Shenneston, the General Manager of Cloud Developer Advocacy at Microsoft. And he will be talking about how to achieve more with AI in Microsoft Cloud in terms of adopting, extending, and building your own Copilots. I've been talking about that a lot, and I think that is kind of a big thing going forward. So make sure to attend that one from room 6, the AI Metaverse track at 7 p.m. CET. For simplicity, we've tried to make it as simple as possible to be able to join and jump between the different tracks, or I would say rooms or Teams meeting rooms in this sense. Of course, if you go to teams-nation.com, you can very quickly go into and see the schedule through the event hub, where you can do direct joins in the different sessions. So you can look through the schedule, see kind of what sessions you want to join, and you can join them directly from there. We've also provided you with a link page with all kind of links to all of the different rooms, including also the feedback form and so on for you. So if you forgot any of the links, you can go to teams-nation.com/join to get all of those links. Moving forward, feedback. I mentioned the feedback form, and I mean, our moderators, I think we will do a great job kind of putting the feedback form links in the chats and so on, and we will have them on the slides. And I really endorse you to provide feedback, because it's very valuable both for us as organizers, but as well for speakers, in order to improve and do even better next time around. So please rate try to rate every session you are watching, and then of course move forward and watch more sessions that will you then provide even more feedback to. And of course, show love as much as possible if you can on social media using #TeamsNation, or tag us with @TeamsNation. Some brief code of conduct, say very, very, I mean, I would say making all sense, I would say. Avoid use of profanity, of course. Avoid any type of conflicts, and respect our different opinions. And of course, we are having a strict 0 tolerance on racism, sexism, homophobia, or any kind of discrimination overall. And please contact any of the moderators in each of the rooms, or directly let us know as well to the organizers. All right. I just want to give a huge thanks again to all of the speakers who's making Teams Nation possible. We wouldn't be able to do this without you and your support, and your taking your free time off to speak and really make Teams Nation a really, really good conference. Thank you so much. And I would also say, of course, we can't forget our amazing moderators either. I mean, without them, it would be really, it wouldn't be possible, I would say, at all. They will do a good, or I would say they will do a great job here, and they put very hard work into making sure to present speakers and help you out in every one of the rooms, answering your questions, and so on. So thank you so much, all of you moderators, making Teams Nation possible. One more thing. Let's go.
Yes, there's going to be one more thing. Show you.
System repairing. Ready.
Future. The slide. So save the date at this moment and keep a watch on this space, metaverse-1.space. And I think it's going to be the time to go to rooms. So pick up your sessions, check out which one you are going to go, and let's start enjoying the Teams Nation. Have a great day, everyone.